stay alive. Trying to find me shorty and make her mine. Now I'll find one in no time. With the help of my homies, I'm going out with my bros. Yeah, going out and going with my bros. Hey there, my Tyler Perry Sistas fans. Long time no see. It's your girl Barbie J here. About to do a review and recap of one of Tyler Perry's other comedy dramas. I think this one is more of a comedy than a drama, but I'm going to call it a comedy drama anyway. And that one is Bruh. Some of you have asked me to do the review on Bruh. So I'm going to do the review, but I'm going to start with season 3, episode 10, and then work my way up to season 4, if you understand that, if that makes sense to you, okay? So after I tell you all the characters and who they are, then I'm going to do a review on episode 10 of season 3. And then each episode after that is going to be 2 episodes at a time. So the next review will be episode 11 and 12. Then it's going to be 13 and 14, 15 and 16, and so on. Until it gets to the end. I think it's 22 episodes in season 3. All right? So let me start with these characters. Now, I used to review Bruh about 2 years ago, season 1, season 2, and then it died out and wasn't picking up or anything like that. But I've noticed that they have added new characters, because originally there was only 4 Bruhs and now there's 5. Just like there was originally 4 sisters, now there's 5. So I guess Tyler Perry was trying to keep it even, but let's be real. Tyler Perry did not advertise Bruh the way he, or promoted Bruh the way he promoted Sistas. Bruh is 30-minute show, where Sistas is an hour show. So that's why I'm going to do 2 shows each review. So that equals 1 hour. Anywho, the characters are, let's see, we have John. John is a business owner. He owns a sandwich shop, and his name is Jonathan Watts. Okay, another character we have is Michael Alexander, who they call Mike. He's an attorney, lawyer, whatever. Matter of fact, Andy was on this show a couple of times. I think she did 2 or 3 show. She showed up on 2 or 3 episodes working with Mike, and Mike was trying to check her, get with her, because Mike is like the ladies' man of the group, really, let's be honest. But anyway, then we have Billiam Frazier. That's right. His name is Billiam and not William. That's what I saw written. That's what it is, but his friends call him Bill, and he's an architect. Then we have Dr. Thomas Brooks. That's Tom, of course. He's a doctor. And now in this season 3, we have Dr. Greg Hunter. I wonder if it's Gregory. I just see Greg Hunter. And he's a doctor. He moved to Atlanta, and he used to be Tom's college roommate. Then we have Miss Alice. Miss Alice is John's mother, and she works in the sandwich shop with him, and they actually live in the same apartment together. Not a house, an apartment. Everybody else they all seem to have apartments, but the other Bruhs, their apartments is bigger than John's. Bigger than one John shares with his mama, to be honest. Anyway, and those 2 are really funny in the show. If y'all watched it, John and his mama be over the top sometimes. It'd be too much sometimes where it's not funny. Like Maurice on Sisters. Sometimes they're doing just too much where it's not even funny anymore. You know what I mean? Then we have Regina. Regina is married to Bill. Now, she was his ex at one time, and then she was about to get married, and Bill went and didn't want her to marry this other guy, and he interrupted her wedding and stood there, when they say if there's anybody who feels this couple should not, and he did that. And then he did that, and then guess what? He didn't want to marry her. And she finally had to, I don't know, almost like force him to do it, where she gave him an ultimatum, and then he married her. But you ruined her wedding, and then you don't want to marry her, and now he doesn't want to marry her. I want to be married. It's just weird. And basically, this is something what I was telling y'all about his character in Sisters. And Bill's character in Sisters is Rich, and he's with Sabrina. And here he is stopping her from having a baby with this other guy, saying that he wants to use his sperm and he wants to have a baby with her. But what's going to happen?
Is he going to change his mind again and say, you know what? I don't know why I did that. I really don't want children. And that's what I'm concerned that, y'all know Tyler Perry reuses his scripts and his storylines. So he might have Rich due to Sabrina the same thing that Bill did to Regina and Bruh. It's really crazy. But anyway, who else is there? Pamela. I don't know Pamela's last name. I don't know Regina's last name. But Pamela's Pam, they call her, is dating Mike. They on and off all the time. On and off. And oh, I forgot another thing about Mike. He had a drug problem. Mike had a drug problem. So that was another issue with Mike. Then there's Darla. Darla Grill. I don't know, they gave her last name. She's a police officer, but she's also a trans woman, man, woman, whatever. And she's Tom's neighbor. She lives not far from Tom, on the same floor as Tom. And Greg is feeling her. Greg, they say he's her love interest, but he's been checking her. He understands that she's trans, but he's still not sure about it, even though he's attracted. Okay. Then we have Hilda. Hilda is Regina's mama, who came to move in with them and live with her and Bill now that they're married. And then it's Lydia. She's a bartender at this bar, and she likes John, and she's super crazy. She's scary crazy. She was in jail for murdering somebody or killing somebody or trying to kill him, whatever it was. But Lydia is crazy as they come, okay? And John is scared of her. John's mama like her, but then when something went down, John's mama wasn't trying to feel her anymore. Then there's Natalie. Natalie used to be, she used to date Bill. And who is it? Somebody brought her back into the picture to to make sure Bill really wanted to marry Regina. And Bill has, it seemed like he has a problem with sex, like he's a sex addict. He just going to women and women and women. But Natalie is also a yoga instructor, but I think she's also a therapist or something at this some type of counselor and therapist at this drug rehab place. And she has been working with Mike. So that's the breakdown of all the characters. Now, before we get started with this recap and review of season 3, episode 10, if you are new to this channel or if you're returning to this channel and have not subscribed as of yet, please take a moment right now, hit that subscribe button, then hit the notification bell and select all, and it'll let you know every time I upload any new content to this channel. Then I ask that you smash that like button, the thumbs up button, write a comment and join the conversation, and share, because sharing is caring. And y'all know some of y'all asked me to do this review, to review this show, so I'm going to do it. Sorry I've been away for a minute. I was just getting myself together. I haven't posted anything probably in about 2 weeks, but I am back. All right. So this is season 3, episode 10, Around and Around. And the synopsis reads, John is shocked when Lydia stands up to Alice, that's his mama. Darla flaunts her handsome date in front of a jealous Greg. And Bill gets some disturbing news about Claudia's dangerous marriage. Uh-oh. So now we see, I'm giving you a little backstory about some of this. We see that Regina's mom has moved in, to the apartment, Bill's apartment that Regina moved into now because they're married. There's only one bathroom, and they can't have any privacy because Regina's mama is living there. And then Bill, now he usually works from home, but now he goes to Tom's house so he could focus and do his work. But now while he's at Tom's house, this young lady comes in the door with the key, and it's the cleaning lady. But she's not the cleaning lady. She's taking the place of the cleaning lady. She's the owner of the business, and so she's filling in. So she's fine as ever, and Bill is all over it. Long story short, somehow they start getting into talking, and now they done met up and had some sex. Okay, they done had sex, and guess what? They both are married. They both realize they married. They figuring this is a good thing. They're gonna try it this one time. And after they have sex, she tells him, and not, let me go back. They had sex in some house that she cleans that she doesn't own. And I think, I don't know. She says she doesn't live there, but maybe she owns it. It's just an apartment that she keeps up. Anyhow, Let me go on again. After they have sex, she tells Bill who her husband is. And his name is Jack McKenzie. And he's a killer, a thug, in and out of jail type person. And he's older than her. And she's like, but don't worry, he'll never find out. I'm like, OMG. And while they're there having sex and stuff, we got Regina is out there tracking Bill on some app that she has on her cell phone. And Pam encourages her to find out where Bill is and what he's doing and to follow them. So here they are out on a park bench waiting to see if they could see Bill and catch him because he told them he was going out for a run. This is absolutely crazy. Talking about no trust, but then talking about you have a reason to not trust him. Hey. But then as Regina and Pam are on the bench talking, they get into a little, it's not a dispute, but Regina's like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not this type of person. She said, she said, you got me out here acting like this, following this man and stuff. She said, I didn't put that app on your phone. But you know what? Pam is so busy in Regina's business. She needs to focus on Mike and what Mike's going through. Mike wasn't in this episode, but the last thing we knew about Mike in the previous episodes, he was battling a drug addiction and he was supposed to be going to this place for, I'm going to say rehab, to continue with his counseling and stuff like that so he could stay clean. So she need to focus on that and stay out of Regina's business. But now back to Bill. He needs to be careful because this ruthless gangster husband of Claudia's, he gonna end up killing him. And as he tells all his friends, they all are going to say the same thing. Dude, you a dead man walking. You better end that. So anyway, then we have John and Alice. Someone broke into their apartment and wrote biatch on the wall in red ink or something like that. And, John automatically thinks it's Lydia. Alice says it's not her. She said, you think it's one of my men's? You think it's one of my men's? You think it's a blinker? Blink, blink, blink. She doing all of that. You think it's one of the men's? Then when she go in her room to see if any of her stuff missing, she's like, let me check and see if they stole my supply. He said, your supply? He said, what are you, a drug dealer, Ma? and she come out there to my, oh, Lord. And he's like, what? They done stole my sex toys. He said, your sex toys? Yeah, Big Larry. Big Larry is her vibrator. So she was very upset about that. She's like, no, it's time for us to call a po-po right now because Big Larry was missing. But then she was blaming Lydia after that. She really thought Lydia did it. So they went to Lydia's job, to the bar or wherever it was. It would look like an upscale bar. And they, accusing her of taking it. And she's telling them she didn't. And Miss Alice got to the point where she slapped Lydia and John was like, oh no, Mom, what you do? What you do? And you see Lydia's face turn and she gets this evil look and she just punched Miss Alice in the face. And she punched her so hard that Miss Alice flipped backwards over the couch and ended up on the floor. I was like, oh my goodness. And Mike was like, what you do that? You hit my mama? You hit my mama? What's wrong with you? Hit my mama? It was so funny. And he was like, she said it was an accident. I didn't mean to do it. Yes, you did mean to do it. She's like, she looked messed up. He said, you got my mama snoring. Miss Alice was knocked out and I was laughing. So when he was going to say, he was about to do something, she said, what you going to do? What you going to do? He said, I'm going to call the cops. And she's like, that's a biatch ass move, And he's like, I don't care. You can call me whatever you want, but I'm calling. She said, no, please don't go. You know that I'm on probation. I don't want to go back to jail. He said, you should have thought about that before you hit my mama. So she's like, I'm not sticking around waiting for them because he called for an ambulance too. And she bounced. And when Miss Alice woke up, she was like, where she at? Where she at? And he was like, Ma, you got knocked the F out. She's like, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. He said, yes, you did. He said, I thought you could fight. All these years you've been woofing all that you could fight. She said, I can't fight. She snuck me. He's like, Mama, she didn't sneak you. You was right there looking at it. She punched you right in the face. I was rolling. She was getting so mad at her son. She's like, don't you be calling no ambulance. I know how to handle my business. I ain't no weak biatch, all of that stuff. But so that scene was pretty funny. I like that scene. Anyway, now back to Tom and Dina. They're out at dinner on a date. And now Dina is the co-worker of Tom's, and she was first interested in Greg, but she didn't like Tom, but she had never said anything because she didn't think Tom liked her. So when things ain't work out with Greg, because Greg wasn't trying to hear her, I don't know if she was too forward or whatever it was. He wasn't interested in getting in a relationship because he just got divorced. So anyway, and plus he was kind of talking to Darla. So he wasn't interested in another person. Anywho, Dina's at dinner asking questions about Greg and why you didn't tell me he's into trans women and why you this and why he's like, look, can we just focus on he's us? He's like, why are you doing this? Can we focus on us and talk about us? And she's like, oh, okay, not a problem. So she's like, how you think this date gonna end? And they went through this whole thing. She talking about drinking a little bit more wine so she could, so the date could end up, I guess, hurt them in bed together. You know what I mean? Then we have Greg. He calls Darla over to apologize. But honestly, I'm telling y'all, Darla is the trans woman. She's a bit much for me because she does all this swearing and cursing. She thinks everyone should be fine with trans people and they need to get on board, and it's no such thing as being confused. You need to unconfuse yourself, all of that. And I don't understand people who think you're supposed to just automatically like accept what they're doing. They should just be used to it. You shouldn't be confused. It shouldn't bother you. Everybody's different, so you shouldn't expect people to do that. People went through that when it was interracial relationships. People couldn't get on board with that. So it takes some people more time. So she's getting mad at Tom. I mean, not Tom, I'm sorry, at Greg about all of this. You know what I mean? So anyway, she accepts Greg's apology, and then she says she has to leave. And he's like, why you leave? She's have a date. And he thinks she's lying because she's just trying to make him jealous and stuff. But she said, no, you think I can't pull a date? And he said, no, I know you can. And you think I can't get a man? And he said, I didn't say that. So she goes and brings the date. He's right at my apartment right now. He texted me he was on his way up when you called. So why you rush over to his house then? Why'd you rush over there? You could have just stayed in your apartment and say, I'll talk to you tomorrow. So she knows she's really into Greg too. So anyway, she brings the date into Greg's apartment, and she's like really rude and saying nasty things about him and stuff, and calling him, she called him a couple of names as she was swearing. She called him nigga and bitch and all, she was saying all this stuff. Ignorant, she called him. And I was like, wow. So I didn't like Darla acting like that. She needs to check herself, if you ask me. But they finally left and went to her apartment. And Greg was just standing there with his arms folded, listening to her with the BS. And he just didn't say nothing. He's like, okay, bye, deuces. And then it ended with what I already told you, Bill finding out that Claudia's husband is a ruthless killer or something like that, a gangster or something. So y'all put it down in the comment section what y'all thought about this episode. Let me know your thoughts, and I will be putting up a few more videos later this week. Please do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. It's your girl Barbie J saying I'll see you in the next video. Peace.